Hello everyone. It is meeting Tuesday, my dudes, and just catching you all up on what's up with my upness. I've been using keyboards. I've been keyboarding a little bit differently. I had previously gone back and forth between keyboards, between the M15 and kind of a standard keyboard or a standard 40% and my Signum, with the intention that by switching up I prevent any kind of pain, just transitioning, not, I guess, repositioning, doing different things so I don't kind of stress out my wrists in one direction particularly. But in the last couple weeks, actually, I haven't even noticed, and it gets really bad around winter, but in the last couple weeks I've been using the Signum just by itself, in a seated position with a little bit of a forward tilt, a tilt toward me in my chair, and just like a centimeter or two. It's really small, and that incline, and maybe even the paddles, because the paddles have been a constant. It's been really good. I've gone like 2 weeks without any pain, and it was good to realize, because I was just like, wait a minute, like my wrist brace, I left it at work like a week ago. So then I realized that I had only been using the Signum for that period of time, so it's good. I mean, whatever it is, it's working. I would like the angle to be slightly more adjustable, off by like 5 more degrees or something like that, because when I wear fleece sweaters, big thick sweaters, my elbows are actually further from my body, and the angle that I come to the keyboard in is steeper. So I would like to make, and I'm working on designs for something that's a little bit more adjustable. And this is where there's a little bit of deviation for whatever the next version is going to be, because the original idea was to have a PCB base, like it is snowing. A base like not even sure what you'd call it. A base is probably the right word. A base with all the circuitry, and then just header pins sticking up, and then you get your keyboard halves and put them on and adjust them however you want, and either affix them or don't affix them, I'm not quite sure yet. And then you take a header pin wire or just a short cable that runs from here into the keyboard, so that it's more flexible, or so that you can adjust on the fly. I don't think I like the aesthetic of that, but I think it's the best way to do it. The other option adds a lot of height, which I like even less. And that option is to have female header pins set up at a variety of angles, and then you have male header pins extending out the bottom of your halves, so that you pick it up, line it up the pins, and slide it in, and now you've got your keyboard at that angle. And then you pick it up, adjust to the next set of header pins that's at another rotational angle, and set it into those, and that's how you adjust your angle. It's by setting it into the different pins. But that gives the height of female header pins, which, you know what, probably isn't that much. I just need to look into it more. Or get shorter header pins, or through hole header pins, something that goes all the way through the circuit board. There are a variety of contact header pins. I mean, it'd basically be a breadboard. I would want it to just be a friction mount so you can put it in there. I also don't know how well or how badly those wear out. I suppose there's a limit, but I don't know what it would be. And the other thing is, if you do that, you wind up with a one-piece design that you can carry with you, and you only remove and reattach based on, you know, when you want to adjust the angle, as opposed to a split where every time you move it, and again, I'm big on travel, so I'm constantly moving the keyboard around, and that's not a problem for lots of people. But if you are traveling, then you wind up moving the keyboard. You wind up unplugging things every single time, and that's not great for the connectors, especially the USB micros, which I have more worn out USB micros than I have working USB micros. So I tend to favor the USB mini connector, because I've never had one of those fail on me or break off or, you know, have problems. What am I doing? Why am I going this way? Why are you running? Why are you running? The other alternative is to make full splits that run off the standard I2C TRRS connectors and use 2 Pro Micros. Which I don't really have a problem with. I haven't had issues with I2C, no matter how many layers I wound up using and how fast I typed, and that's just on the Iris. So I wouldn't be entirely opposed to that, but I just don't like. There's just wires, man. There's just lots of wires, and it invites complexity into something that doesn't really need to be complex, because most of my designs are one-piece designs, and I'm probably going to set this up as a, you know, even if I do set up splits, I set them right next to each other, and I adjust the angle to my elbows, basically. But there's also an incline, so I'm thinking about a 3D printed base, and I have already designed something like that, but I would want you to be able to rotate on the base, and like, I just want it all right now. I want to quickly 3D print a design that works in all possible positions for all possible keyboards in every possible inclination. The other thing is the simplicity. I do like to keep the keyboards accessible by making them less expensive, and if I make a PCB only design that has you know, adjustable angles, that's really good, because I can still keep the price down. It would be a little bit more because there's more surface area on the circuit board, but still, it would work. I just don't quite. No, that also, well, no. I mean, anytime you raise it up, the circuit board's going to take some flex. I don't know. No, nope. Close. So though I have access to some quality 3D printers and people who can, at least at their own, at least what they say is they can reproduce in quantity, I still don't entirely trust the process. You know, I haven't done it for a long time, but the 3D printing is becoming rather standardized. I don't know. I'm also not very practiced at it, so I design something that's all right, and then, oh wait, I know someone who's a 3D printer designer. That's interesting. That means I would have to come up with a solid design. Okay. Talk to her and see if she can design it. This would be a base that would have adjustable tenting and rotation. And I think if you get that, you can work out, you know, whole piece inclination later. I don't think that's a problem. Interesting. And if I do that, woo, ice. And if I do that, it'll work with any split. Just split off whatever. It won't even matter. Oh, am I early? I think. So maybe I just need to... Well, I could talk to her about the design anyways. And the printing. Okay. I think this works. Hopefully I can make something that's useful to lots of different keyboards.